Hey everyone, Matt here from Wi-Fi Ninjas, and today in this video I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite Wi-Fi tools that I use, which is Ekahau. In a previous video I showed you how I use the Ekahau app on iOS, the Ekahau survey app, and what I did with that is I collected data from my apartment from using various methods of surveys, from stop and go to continuous to the autopilot type of survey. And Ekahau is so feature rich, it would take me days and days to try and explain to you and show you guys how many amazing features Ekahau has. If that is something you are interested in, then I would highly recommend that you check out the ECSE training courses that are that you can get from Ekahau. But what I want to show you is the data that I captured on my iOS device that I synced to the cloud, that I'm now going to take a look at on my MacBook Pro, which I downloaded from the cloud directly onto my laptop straight after my survey. So now we can see on my screen my apartment, and we have a mixture here of green and white circles. The green circles are what we call as my access points, which are the APs I was connected to whilst I was doing my survey, and the white access points are deemed as other. I use Ekahau for designing, troubleshooting, validation, all sorts for my Wi-Fi as a Wi-Fi toolkit. But what I just want to show you guys today is pretty much the data that I collected on the application on iOS and how easy it is to have a look at on the MacBook Pro that I have. So I would show you how I downloaded it from my cloud, but you'd be able to see my other customers' details in there. I'm not sure I'm allowed to show them, but you just need to make sure that you're signed into your cloud account and you can pull down the file straight away. And now this is the view that I have set as my default view, and it's currently like empty with no signal strengths or heat maps or anything like that. But at the moment, if I want to see my signal strength on my 5 gigahertz, I can just change it from empty and then change it to signal strength for my access points, and now straight away we can see the signal strength from my APs on my floor plan. Now there's a whole other bunch of visualizations that we can see here, but I don't want to run through all of that on this video, otherwise it will take way too long for you guys. But just as a quick view, we can see that we've got the 5 here, which is for the 5 gigahertz, and the 2.4. So we can just quickly flip, and now I can see the 2.4 from my access points compared to the 5 gigahertz. And at the bottom right hand corner we can see my visualization legend. So we're seeing green as really strong signal, which is neg 30 dBm. So I've got one cutoff point set at neg 67, which would be red, and then another cutoff point which would be neg 85. So I'm just going to change the visualization back to empty for now, and then what I want to pop up and have a look at is my survey data from the walk I did in my apartment. Now I did 3 different types of surveying methods. I used stop and go, continuous, and autopilot. And now if we have a look at this blue dot, which we can see just here, that was one of my stop and go data points. So again, now that we've popped up this view, we can see a whole bunch of information. And if we just start going from like left to the right, we click on the survey button, and it's on the 5 gigahertz, and we are looking at any SSID for the duration of 5 seconds. And we can see here the signals. This would probably be a little bit better for me to show in a moment when we look at the continuous. But we can see the spectrum, the active survey, because I was connected to my SSID on my iPhone as I was doing the survey, so that's why we can see some information here for the RTT, which is the round trip time. And then over here, now we can see in the 5 gigahertz frequency spectrum, if we just hover our mouse over these rectangles, we can see it changes over on this side to correlate to the radio and the SSID, and then what technology was heard from that SSID. Is it 802.11a, N, AC, AX? So for my printer that I have in my office, it is 5 gigahertz, but only does 802.11n. And then we can see the data rates that are allowed and the channel, as well as the channel width and the signal strength. Now this is the 5 gigahertz frequency that I'm looking at currently on my stop and go. We can flip this over to 2.4, and then we'll see that this will change to look at the 2.4 gigahertz channels. One quick tip that I like to do is I like to change my view on this side to have my signals showing from the strongest from top down, just so I can see like what are my top strongest signals when I was in this certain area. So that was my stop and go data point. I have one more here that I collected right by my bedroom door, but I'm going to click onto my continuous survey path, which will now go blue. And what I want to do is I want to go back, and I like looking at my 5 gigahertz frequency more than I do my 2.4. But what we can do now is on the top of the bar here, if we slide this, we can start to see that blue dot. If I just zoom out a little bit, we can see that blue dot start jumping around. That's basically playing back over time where I was walking. So over my continuous path, and this is why I said I'd come back to this section over here in a little bit later, because as I scroll from right to left or left to right, we can see the signals going up and down based on where I was and the signal strength at the time compared to where I am at that moment to where I moved to, which is a really nice little feature that I like to be able to see if I'm looking at one access point, how the signal strength changes over time when I'm walking around my different path. And then finally, the last type of survey that I done was a autopilot survey. So I'm just going to zoom in over here and pick one of these little dots. We can see it's got a big blue circle now, but this is where I was doing my autopilot survey. If you didn't see that video, I'll put a link to it in the notes of this video so you can have a look at what I'm referring back to. But again, we can now go and have a look over time at all those data points that I had captured, and we can see how the channels are a little bit busy, because I use an 80 megahertz wide channel on one of my missed access points and another 80 megahertz wide channel on another one of my missed access points. And we can see that there's some traffic going on my missed AP whilst I was doing my survey. And then you can see the spectrum, and yeah, this is just touching the absolute surface of what the powers of Ekahau really is. And this is why this is my absolute number one for sure Wi-Fi tool. That if you're a Wi-Fi engineer and you're thinking about getting, if maybe if you're a network engineer or you're just starting in your Wi-Fi career and you're thinking, how do I learn more about Wi-Fi, what is the best Wi-Fi tools to use, Ekahau was the first Wi-Fi tool that I started to learn Wi-Fi, and with doing designs from predictive modeling to going on site doing AP on a stick surveys to doing validation surveys to troubleshooting wireless networks. I use Ekahau for absolutely everything. And if this video has made you more interested in what else Ekahau has to offer, then I really suggest that you head over to the Ekahau website and find out more information about maybe getting a demo, or you can go and get actual training, virtual and classroom training once this COVID-19 stuff is all over. There's lots of Ekahau classes. I've been on it multiple times, and even though I've worked in Wi-Fi for quite a while now and I've been using Ekahau for a long time, there's still lots of stuff that you can pick up and learn from attending one of these classes. But yeah, the amount of features that Ekahau has to offer and the innovations that they always come out with, it's such a valuable product to have in your Wi-Fi toolkit. And for me personally, I really value the Ekahau Connect subscription because I really liked using my tablet to do surveys, or I've got the flexibility to use my iPhone if I want to as well. That was all I wanted to talk about from my Ekahau Wi-Fi tools. I will do some more videos on some other tools that I use, but I really wanted to make sure that I covered and highlighted Ekahau, as for me, these guys are the number one. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys soon.